Did you know that in Switzerland, it's not just about flushing toilets after 10 p.m. in an apartment building? There are also laws dictating how you can hang your laundry, what time you can mow your lawn, and even when you can recycle your glass bottles. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. In Singapore, chewing gum is famously banned, but did you know that it's also illegal to connect to someone else's Wi-Fi without permission, an offense that could land you in jail for up to 3 years? And in the good old state of Oklahoma, you could technically be arrested for making ugly faces at a dog. These might sound like internet jokes or urban legends, but they're examples, albeit often outdated or rarely enforced examples, of the truly bizarre, head-scratching laws that exist, or have existed, around the world. Get ready to question what you thought you knew about law, order, and common sense, because things are about to get very weird. Hello curious minds and welcome to my channel. Here, we explore the most intriguing facts, the most bizarre stories, and the most surprising curiosities in the world. I'm Jack, and together, we'll dive into a universe of knowledge, and question, is this real or fake? But today, forget about separating fact from fiction, because we're diving headfirst into a world where the real laws are stranger than anything you could make up. We're talking about the weirdest laws from around the globe. Laws so bizarre, so outdated, so utterly nonsensical, that you'll be left wondering what on earth the lawmakers were thinking. We'll be traveling continent by continent, country by country, uncovering the hidden gems of legal absurdity. Get ready to laugh, cringe, scratch your heads, and maybe even question the very fabric of reality. Because some of these laws are that strange. Let's get started. Let's kick off our global tour of legal oddities in North America. The United States, a land often associated with freedom and individual liberty, is also a treasure trove of truly bizarre laws, many of which are remnants of bygone eras, reflecting outdated social norms, moral panics, or just plain legislative weirdness. Alabama. In Alabama, it's not just about fake mustaches causing laughter in church, though that one's certainly a classic. It's also, or at least was, illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket. The origin of this law is debated, but one theory suggests it was a way to prevent horse theft. Apparently, thieves would lure horses away by placing an ice cream cone in their pocket. It was also illegal to maim oneself to escape duty, which, well, makes one wonder what kind of duty they had in mind. And you definitely don't want to be caught wrestling a bear in Alabama. That's also against the law. Alaska. Alaska, the land of the midnight sun and, surprisingly strict laws about moose. We already mentioned the prohibition against pushing a live moose out of a moving airplane, which seems like common sense, but apparently needed to be codified. But did you know it's also illegal to whisper in someone's ear while they're moose hunting? Or to view a moose from an aircraft, unless you have a permit? Clearly, Alaskans take their moose very seriously. And if you're thinking of giving your pet moose a beer, think again, that's also illegal. Arizona. Arizona has a reputation for being a bit different. And its laws reflect that. In Mojave County, it was once illegal to steal soap, with the bizarre punishment of having to wash yourself with the stolen soap until it was gone. In Nogales, Arizona, it's against the law to wear suspenders. And the law we mentioned before that states, when attacked by a criminal or burglar, you may only defend yourself using the same weapon that the offender is using. California. California, the land of sunshine, Hollywood, and incredibly specific laws. We touched on the law against women driving in housecoats, a law likely rooted in outdated notions of propriety. But there's more. In Blythe, California, you need a permit to wear cowboy boots, unless you own at least 2 cows. And in Carmel, California, made famous by Clint Eastwood's stint as mayor, it's illegal to wear high heels without a permit, apparently to prevent lawsuits from tripping on uneven pavement. And forget about setting a mousetrap without a hunting license. Colorado. In Aspen, Colorado, catapults, blowguns, slingshots, and even snowballs are not allowed to be fired or thrown at or towards a person or building. Crossing the Atlantic, we land in Europe, a continent with a rich history, diverse cultures, and a surprisingly high concentration of truly peculiar laws. Many of these laws date back centuries, reflecting the social norms and concerns of a bygone era. Others are more recent, but no less bizarre. United Kingdom. The UK, with its long and often eccentric history, is a goldmine of strange laws. We mentioned the prohibition against dying in the Houses of Parliament, which, while often repeated, is likely a myth based on a misunderstanding of the building's status as a royal palace. But there are plenty of real oddities. For example, it's technically illegal to handle a salmon in suspicious circumstances. Salmon Act 1986. What constitutes suspicious circumstances? That's up to the courts to decide. It's also illegal to be drunk and in charge of a cow in Scotland, and in the city of York, it's legal to shoot a Scotsman with a bow and arrow on any day except Sunday, though I strongly advise against testing this one. And under the UK's tax avoidance scheme's regulations, it is illegal to not tell the taxman anything you don't want him to know. You don't have to tell him anything you do want him to know, though. France, the land of love, liberty, and surprisingly strict rules about naming your livestock. It's illegal to name a pig Napoleon in France, a law that dates back to the Napoleonic era and was likely intended to prevent mockery of the emperor. While rarely, if ever, enforced today, it remains on the books. France also has laws regulating the use of ketchup in school cafeterias, to promote healthier eating, apparently, and, at one point, banned the sale of Red Bull due to concerns about taurine. The ban was later lifted. Switzerland, known for its neutrality, its chocolate, and its meticulous regulations. We've already touched on the noise restrictions. No flushing toilets after 10 p.m. in apartments, no mowing lawns on Sundays. But the Swiss also have strict rules about pet ownership. If you own a social animal, like a guinea pig or a parrot, you're legally required to have at least two, to prevent them from getting lonely. And if you want to own a dog, you have to pass a written and a practical exam to prove you're a responsible owner. They also take their recycling very seriously. There are specific rules about how to sort your trash, and failing to comply can result in fines. Now, let's journey to Asia, a continent of ancient traditions, rapid modernization, and a fascinating mix of legal systems. Here, we find laws that reflect unique cultural values, social priorities, and sometimes, a healthy dose of the unexpected. Singapore. Singapore is renowned for its cleanliness, its orderliness, and its strict laws. The chewing gum ban is perhaps the most famous example. It's been illegal to import or sell chewing gum in Singapore since 1992, a measure implemented to prevent gum-related litter and vandalism. You can be fined heavily for spitting out gum on the street, or for bringing it into the country. But Singapore's strictness doesn't end there. It's also illegal to annoy someone with a musical instrument, to fly a kite that interferes with traffic, to walk around your house naked, even if the curtains are closed, or to connect to another person's Wi-Fi without permission, the latter being considered a form of hacking, punishable by up to 3 years in prison. These laws reflect Singapore's emphasis on social harmony, public order, and respect for shared spaces. Thailand, the land of smiles, also has some surprising legal quirks. It's illegal to leave your house without wearing underwear, a law that's rarely enforced, and the practicality of its enforcement is highly questionable. More seriously, it's illegal to criticize the Thai monarchy, a crime known as lèse-majesté, which carries severe penalties, including lengthy prison sentences. And you definitely don't want to step on Thai currency. That's also illegal, as the money bears the image of the king. Japan, a country known for its politeness, its technology, and its unique cultural traditions, also has some unusual laws. We mentioned that it's illegal to make clones of yourself. That was stated at 2001. It is also illegal to splash muddy water on a pedestrian by driving through a puddle. This offense could cost you $65. So, why do all these weird, wacky, and sometimes downright nonsensical laws exist? Well, there's no single answer, but there are a few common explanations. Many of these laws are simply old. They were passed decades, or even centuries ago, in a very different social, cultural, and technological context. What might have seemed reasonable or necessary at the time can appear utterly absurd to us today. These laws often reflect the concerns and anxieties of a particular historical period, such as fears about public morality, social order, or the perceived dangers of new technologies. Other weird laws are the result of specific local incidents or controversies. A town might pass a law banning a certain type of activity after a single, highly publicized incident, even if that incident was a freak occurrence. Or a law might be passed in response to a particular local problem, but then be worded so broadly or vaguely that it ends up having unintended and bizarre consequences. Sometimes, it's a case of a well-intentioned law being poorly drafted or misinterpreted, leading to absurd results. And let's be honest, some laws are probably just mistakes. Lawmakers are human, and humans make errors. A law might be passed with a typo, a loophole, or an ambiguous wording that allows for unintended interpretations. Or a law might be passed as a joke, or as a symbolic gesture, with no intention of it ever being enforced. And sometimes, laws are simply the product of lobbying by special interest groups, who manage to get their own quirky concerns enshrined in legislation. The existence of these weird laws raises some interesting questions. Should outdated or nonsensical laws be repealed, or is there some value in keeping them on the books, even if they're rarely or never enforced? Some argue that these laws serve as a kind of historical record, a window into the past that allows us to see how social norms, values, and concerns have changed over time. They can be a source of amusement, a reminder of human fallibility, and even a trigger for conversations about the role of law in society. Others argue that these laws, even if seemingly harmless, can create confusion, waste resources, and even lead to unfair or discriminatory enforcement. There's always the risk that a law, no matter how obscure, could be selectively applied to target certain individuals or groups. And the sheer volume of outdated and contradictory laws can make it difficult for citizens to know what is actually legal and what is not, potentially undermining respect for the legal system as a whole. Perhaps the most important takeaway from this exploration of weird laws is that the law is a human creation, and like all human creations, it's imperfect, often illogical, and constantly evolving. Laws reflect the values, beliefs, fears, and prejudices of the societies that create them, and those things are always changing. So, the next time you hear about a strange law, don't just dismiss it as silly or irrelevant. Take a moment to consider its origins, its purpose, or lack thereof, and what it tells us about the society that created it. You might be surprised by what you discover, and you might even learn something about yourself and your own assumptions about law, order, and the human condition. And there you have it, a whirlwind, globe-trotting tour of some of the weirdest, wackiest, and most wonderfully bizarre laws from around the world. Did any of these laws particularly surprise you? Make you laugh? Make you question the sanity of lawmakers? Do you think these laws should be repealed, or are they harmless fun? And most importantly, do you know of any other strange laws from your own country, state, or city that we should add to the list? Let me know all your thoughts, reactions, and additions in the comments below. Remember, this is a place for curious minds, so be respectful, be open-minded, and let's have a fascinating discussion. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the absurd side of the law, please subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more intriguing mysteries and surprising facts coming your way. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode, give this video a thumbs up to show your support, and share it with your friends. They might need a good laugh, or a reminder to check the local ordinances before they, I don't know, walk a dog without a permit while wearing a housecoat. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and remember, the world is a wonderfully weird place, and sometimes, the law is even weirder.